Okay, so kind of wanted to give you a demonstration of how this simulator can be used to simulate real-world training. And one of the things that's difficult sometimes is if you're not flying in a controlled environment, it gets a little intimidating to come into a controlled environment and deal with air traffic control and all the directions and the procedures and stuff. And so we can use a simulator along with the Pilot Edge system to simulate that. There's a live controller. We're going to use all the appropriate radio frequencies and all the radio calls and procedures. And we're dealing with, like I said, a live controller on the other end who understands all that and expects us to do it correctly. So I've set us up here at McCarran, or it's now Harry Reid, and let me start a record on this thing here. We're in the Southwest GA parking area, and what we're going to do is do a Class Bravo departure, which is the most complex departure that we can do. And I'm going to fire up the Foreflight here so that I'll be able to show you what's going on with that. Okay, so I have Foreflight on my leg. Right now I have the airport information page displayed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up some frequencies, just double check. The Foreflight is actually integrated right into the simulator. It pulls all the information from the simulator just as if we were flying and it was pulling it all from GPS, so it works 100% the same. So we'll load up our stuff. So we're going to have to do a lot of radio traffic. We're going to have to talk to clearance delivery to get a clearance out of here. We're going to have to talk to ground for taxi instructions. Then we'll have to go over to tower. He'll control us until we depart the area. He'll control us until we get airborne, and then he'll hand us over to departure. Departure will control us until we leave the Bravo and get outside their area, and then they'll hand us over to LA Center. So we're going to depart Las Vegas, headed back to Lake Havasu, just an uncontrolled, and once we get on flight following, we'll kill it. So fairly complex. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our frequencies loaded up in there. So the first frequency we're going to need is clearance delivery. So we're going to go on our Foreflight. We're going to look up clearance delivery. So clearance delivery at Las Vegas is 118.0. I'm going to put 118.0 in COM 1. So I'm going to dial up 118.0, and I'm going to make it active. That's going to be our first frequency. And you'll start.
You departed after your clearance.
You're going to start to hear radio traffic from
and then, you didn't make
the other traffic on this frequency.
Airborne there.
Our next
so I think I figured out why the flight plan is not showing a listing. Are you
I'll turn him down a little bit till we're ready. The next frequency we're going to need is ground at Las Vegas. We're going to be west of 1 right 9. So 1219 it looks like is going to be their frequency. So we'll go to 1219 in our standby frequency on COM 1. We're going to bounce over to COM 2 now. Tower will be the next frequency. And we're going to go out on 19.
And you departed at 1809, or you departed after your clearance void time.
So the controllers are working with somebody that's doing an IFR flight plan, and it sounds like they made a mistake, and so he's kind of educating them a little bit. 19 left and 19 right, tower is 118.75. So 118.75 is already in the standby. We'll make it active, although that COM isn't active. And then the departure frequency he'll assign to us. It may be different, but we'll just look here. Looks like 1259, but he may change that. But we'll put that in just for now. Okay, so we've got our frequencies loaded up. We want to go to Lake Havasu. We need to get a nav page loaded up. So we'll just go to flight plan. So we'll just go here to flight plan, and we'll get a cursor. And we're just going to go from Las Vegas, which is KLAS. Enter. To Lake Havasu, which is KHII. So we'll put KHII in there. Real simple. All I want to do is get the departure out of here. Enter. Okay, so we got a flight plan in there, and it just showed me there's the course line, looks good. Popped up here, Las Vegas to Lake Havasu, that's what we want. It gives us our, right now I have ground speed, track, desired track, and estimated time and route. Over here we have distance and bearing. So basically our desired track is going to be about 146, and we're good to go there. So transponder code, we're just on 1200 right now. He's going to give us clearance, will give us a transponder code to squawk once we get going. We'll stop right there as far as setting stuff up until we get some more information. So actually the other thing I missed here is we need to get ATIS, the Automatic Terminal Information Service. So I'm going to have to bump one of these frequencies. The ATIS for weather, their ATIS is 132.4. So let's go to 132.4. That's in COM 2, so we'll go to COM 2.
19er left, 19er right, 26 right. Visual approaches in use VFR departures, contact clearance delivery, advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact, you have information Sierra. Harry Reid International Airport, ATIS information Sierra. 1756 Zulu. Wind variable at 4. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 25,000. Temperature 36. Dew point 4. Altimeter 2984. Arriving runways 19er left, 19er right, 26 left. Departing runways 19er left, 19er right, 26 right. Visual approaches in use VFR departures, contact clearance delivery. Advise on course heading.
Okay, so we've got our
and if flight
we've got our ATIS and its information Sierra. We're going to be using runway 19 left or right. We'll be on 19 right, I'm sure, because we're on that side of the airport. We'll take a look real here quick at our taxiway chart here. So on the Foreflight, you can see us. We're the blue airplane, and we're probably going to get, I would expect, either we'll probably get hotel. Taxi via Hotel Foxtrot, or they could put us on Foxtrot all the way down, depending on if they have other aircraft in the way. But that's what we'll expect to get down to 19 right. Could be different, but that's just kind of trying to get in your head what you're probably going to hear. Okay, altimeter 2984. So we're going to set the barrow. The barrow is the big knob. There's two knobs right here. Barrow's the big knob, and we're going to put it right here. You'll see the altimeter adjusting the altimeter tape, and then we're going to put 2984 here, and we should have identical. We should have identical altitudes, 2180 and 2180. Looks good. So those are good. So our standby and our PFD altimeters correlate to one another. Okay, we're going to call clearance delivery for a clearance to depart the Bravo. He's going to give us the mnemonic is craft, a clearance route, altitude, a frequency, and a transponder code. So I usually just write that craft, CRAFT, and I can just fill it in as he tells me. So we're going to call him. He's going to want to know who we are. So we're 429 Charlie Papa is this aircraft. And we're at Signature, which is the FBO we're parked at, which is on the Southwest GA ramp. I'll say both because it's a simulator to make sure he knows where I am on the ramp. His one controller is controlling a lot of airports in the simulator world, so the one guy's pretty busy. So we're at Signature. We're a 172 slant Gulf, which means we have GPS navigation available. We want to go to Havasu, which is KHII, VFR. Departure to Havasu will take 7,500. We'd like radar services, which is flight following, and we have Sierra. And I usually make a few notes just so I can refer to them when I'm giving them all this. So let's just double check our frequency before I make ourselves look stupid here. And clearance, double check. 1180 is what we want. 1180 is what we're on. Okay, so let me flip all this stuff here. I didn't set it up before I did. Armed. Good. Okay, here we go. So we're going to give him a call. Las Vegas clearance, Cessna 149 Charlie Papa.
Good.
149 Charlie Papa, we're a 172 slant Gulf at signature, a Southwest GA ramp. We'd like a VFR departure to Lake Havasu, 7,500, on course heading of 078 degrees, and we'd like radar services, and we have information, Sierra.
Charlie Papa, taking the aircraft type.
It's a 172 slant Gulf, and let me amend that on course heading to 146, 146.
49 Charlie Papa, Las Vegas clearance, clear Las Vegas Bravo airspace on departure, fly heading 175, maintain VFR at 7,000, departure frequency 125.47, squawk 5365.
Okay, 49 Charlie Papa's cleared out of the Bravo, 175 on the heading, VFR 7,000, 12547 for departure, and 5365 for the box.
Read back correct.
Okay, so we have our information here. And hopefully I don't have that turned down so low that you guys, couldn't hear it. Okay, so he cleared us out of the Bravo. Our initial heading is going to be 175. We're going to put a heading bug on that. So we're going to take the heading bug, and we're going to go heading, and we're going to make that 175.
Alright, 5 Yankee landing 090 vector final
That's
approach
going to be the heading we take after we turn on course
090 vector
initially.
final approach.
Okay, VFR to 7,000, so we're going to change our altitude to 7,000, the pre-select. Okay, and 125.47 is going to be departure, so I'm going to put that down here. Let me make sure I got these wound up right here. So our next frequency is going to be ground, which is 1219, then the tower, which is going to be 11875. So because I did the ATIS mistake here, I got to redo this here. Let's make the tower 11875. And then departure, he gave me 12547. So 12547. Okay, and double check ground. Ground's going to be 121.9. Okay, so we're going to flip flop to ground. Oh, wrong comm, so we'll bounce up to the top comm. We'll flip flop, so ground is active now. And then we'll go to 1875 for tower, which is just switching over to comm 2, and then we can go to the flip flop on comm 2 for our departure frequency. All right, so next thing we're going to do is call ground and get our taxi instructions. So 121.9 is ground. Good morning, Las Vegas ground. Cessna 429 Charlie Papa at signature, ready to taxi for VFR to Lake Havasu with Sierra.
Yeah, 1723 contact departure.
Departure, United 1723.
429 Charlie Papa, Las Vegas ground, verify transponders on.
Stand by one. Oh, see, he got me. Transponder code, didn't set it. Code
Departure, United 1723.
5365. He could see that we didn't have our transponder set.
Contact Clementine 8000.
Clementine 8000, United 1723.
429 Charlie Papa, thank you. Runway 19 right, taxi via Hotel Foxtrot.
19 right via Hotel Foxtrot, 429 Charlie Papa. Okay, so that's how lifelike this is. He could see that the transponder code that was given to me, I didn't put it in. That's why you train like this, because I got distracted, didn't put that transponder code in, wasn't squawking the right code. He's looking at a radar screen, he can see that, and called me out on it, like he should. So, perfect. That's why we're doing this. Should be lean for taxi there. Okay, I'm not doing a bunch of, I'm not going to do a bunch of, checklists and stuff just because I want to show you the radio traffic. And stand by one sec. There we go. So now I can look around if I want. I can turn my head and look, or I can just lock it forward. I had to adjust the clip on the side of my head because I bumped it. Okay, so we're going to taxi via Hotel Foxtrot, so we're going to go back to our taxi chart here. I can see myself. I just got to come right out, make a left-hand turn up here on Hotel, and then we will go to down to 19 right. So let's taxi on out. Looking left and right, or right and left I should say. Everything looks clear there. Let's see, let's get back on Hotel here. I almost went past it.
November 234 Bravo, radio check.
Loud and clear. United 1723, contact Los Angeles Center 135.5.
And so one of the really neat things is I'm using Foreflight just like I'd use it in the real world. I'm keeping myself oriented as to where I am on Foreflight because it can get confusing, and I almost went over to the next taxiway. Started to think, yeah, this doesn't look right. Look down at the Foreflight. Yep, sure enough. So hotel's where we want to be, and you'll see there's the hotel sign indicating that, yeah, we are on hotel. We're going to
1723 Los Angeles Center, comment
we're going to taxi all the way down here and get ready to go. We're going to put a map page on here. And we'll zoom that in a little bit. There we are, taxiing down the side of the runway. Make that even a little bit bigger if I want. So we've got taxi on here also. We're taxiing down and we're going to go to Foxtrot for 19 right. Steering with my feet and both rudder and brakes, just like the real aircraft.
Departure November 234 Alpha with the numbers, request IFR to Victor View for
we'll put 10 degrees of flaps in here.
And November 234 Alpha.
10 degrees selected, again, 10 degrees indicated.
You were filing under the wrong
I can even
so
look out and see.
You got to get logged into the right account.
Yep, got 10 degrees out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that later, and I'm gonna do the I rating just for a training purpose, if that's possible.
You want to do it for practice?
Exactly, for practice.
234 Alpha, Roger. Clear to Victorville Airport as filed, maintain 4,000,
if you want
expect
so for an instructor that wants to use this with a student, you can get as
frequency
into the checklist as you want to get. You know, I can check my DG and my whiskey compass are both working by going left and right.
Cleared,
and you actually see them move just like even the mechanical one moves.
Climb to 4,000, expect 9,000 after 10 minutes. Departure 135.4.
Ball sliding out left and right, or the actual indicator on the G1000, which doesn't use a ball, just uses an electronic indicator.
November 234 Alpha.
3 Delta Sierra, contact point, big approach 124.7.
Okay, here comes
3 Delta Sierra.
almost a Foxtrot, and then there's a run-up area down here. I'm just going to go off into this run-up area, touch the brakes a little bit.
On the ILS 25.
Nose dips when you touch the brake, just like the real plane. I'm just going to turn. There's Foxtrot right in front of us here to the right a little bit.
Diamond 3 Delta Sierra.
And we'll get everything set for departure. So what we want to do here, I'm going to put the parking brake on. The parking brake actually works. So the parking brake is on. We just do want to do a quick run up here. I'm not going to go through a whole bunch of stuff, but we'll make sure that the sim isn't throwing any failures at us. So there's a mag failure on one side, less than 100 drop, go back to both. Other side, same drop, she's running good. I'm gonna pull that back, all the end instruments are in the green, and I have the full checklist if you want to do that, but like I said, this is more of a demonstration of just the ATC interaction here. So we're sitting here, we're talking to ground, but we're gonna switch over to tower. So tower's 118.75, so we're gonna bump to COM 2. Right here. Another reason you got to do this G1000, I was trying to switch to COM 2 right here, which switches which COM that I'm selecting the frequency on, but which COM I want to talk on, I actually have to use the audio panel to switch, and you notice that it went green here. When I was on COM 1 was green. So over to COM 2, now we're on tower.
Yeah, 1723 Los Angeles Center, climb maintain follow 340.
118.75, I just want to verify I'm good on that, because I was bouncing frequencies all around. Tower 1875, yeah. Okay, so we're 1875, and then on departure we're going to hit 125.47. That's already loaded in the flip-flop, okay? On departure we're going to fly 175. We've got that set in the heading bug. We're going to put the autopilot in heading mode and in vertical speed, or I'm sorry, flight level change at 78. So we'll tell it that we want to climb at 78. So the autopilot is not on right now, and I'll turn the flight director off. The autopilot is not on, but when it comes on, it's going to come on. I guess I have to leave that on to do that. So we'll in heading and flight level change, do that again here. So when I hit it, it's going to turn to the 175 course that he assigned me. Later on, he'll allow us to do resume on nav, and then we'll go direct to Lake Havasu. Okay, so the autopilot's set just to turn it on when I'm ready. Engine instruments run up. We're going to say we went through that whole checklist. That's all done. Mixture's good. Transponders squawking. We've got lights on, beacons on. So the lights, camera, action thing is done. Park and brake is going off. We're going to taxi up to the line. You can see the hold short line with the flashing lights up here. Let's make sure I got the volume up on this guy.
Departure November 234 holding short. Ready for departure.
234 Alpha, release for departure. Clearance void if not off in 3 minutes. If not off in 3 minutes, advise intentions this frequency not later than 8 minutes. Change to advisory frequency is approved.
November 234 Alpha, roger that. Would you clarify, just say departure is 13.4 or 13.4?
Gotta wait our turn.
35.4. 35.4.
35.4. November 234 Alpha, thank you, sir.
3 Delta Sierra, contact Oxnard Tower, 134.905, see ya.
35905, see ya, Diamond 3 Delta Sierra.
3495.
3495.
Las Vegas Tower, 429 Charlie Papa is ready to go. 19 right of Foxtrot, VFR to Lake Havasu.
429 Charlie Papa, Las Vegas Tower, wind variable at 4, runway 19 right, clear for takeoff.
19 right, clear for takeoff. 9 Charlie Papa.
Approaching runway 19 right.
Okay,
Entered
we look
runway
good here.
19 right.
If I want to look around, I can just
9,700
look
feet
around a little
remaining.
bit. There's nobody out there. I don't see anybody coming down final.
Oxnard Tower,
Winds are variable at 4.
263 Delta Sierra,
So we don't have a lot to worry about there. We'll get lined up on center
263
line.
Delta Sierra, Oxnard Tower, wind 210 at 4, runway 25, go to land.
So we're flying 190 runway heading, and then we're going to turn to a 175 after we're clear of the runway here. I still have this where I can look around. I can just switch that with my thumb. So I'm going to go back to just a straight forward here. We'll stand on the brakes and do one last engine check.
Alright, you don't have to call clearance delivery.
Temps and pressures are in the green. We're all good to go. Here we go. Brakes are off. Need a little bit of right rudder.
Then that's Warrior 828901
Chair
at the West
slip there a
Ram.
little bit.
Information Echo, ready to copy clearance to Palomar.
828901, downwind clearance
Airspeed's
clear Palomar
alive.
Airport on departure flight
Temps
heading
and pressures are
175.
good.
Radar
There's
vector
40,
23 as filed.
50,
Maintain 5,000.
55. That's rotating to 172. We'll rotate it up. Let her keep climbing. Coming through 70, we'll go flaps up. 70's flaps up.
Again, at departure frequency 8901.
A little bit of trim here.
128.1.
8901 is cleared to Palomar. Fly heading 175.
We want to climb 78 to 80. There's 80 right there.
Maintain 5,000.
Control now with pitch and need a little more trim.
128.1, squawk 50.
Fly the runway heading here just for a little bit, then we'll turn 175.
82901, read back correct.
8901.
November 23 for Alpha, 1,500.
Okay, here we go. Autopilot. We're going into heading mode to 175.
To perform a hold.
So we're on autopilot now.
234 Alpha, SoCal departure. Verify squawk 7271, ident.
Ident 7271, November 23.
Perfect. Climb at 78.
9 Charlie Papa, radar contact.
175 on the heading. We're cleared to 7,000 feet.
Yeah,
She's
1723,
holding a nice
contact
rate
open
for
center
us.
127.45.
Now we're waiting for our departure call. We do our climb checklist right now.
149 Charlie Papa, contact your radar contact Las Vegas departure.
Over to departure for 429 Charlie Papa. Okay, so go to departure. So we're going to bounce our frequency over now to departure. Las Vegas departure 429 Charlie Papa out of 3,000 for 7,000 on a 175 heading.
429 Charlie Papa, Las Vegas departure. Roger, what's the altitude requested?
7,000 will be our final, or I'm sorry, 7,500 will be our final altitude.
9 Charlie Papa, Roger, maintain VFR 7,500.
Up to 7,500 for 429 Charlie Papa. Okay, so he gave us all the way to 7,500, so we can change our pre-select here up to 7,500 from 7. So now the autopilot will keep us climbing there. 78 looks good. Engine looks good.
I'm not seeing it. Go ahead and reset the transponder.
We'll actually lean a little bit here. Fuel flow, oil temp,
85 Yankee turn right heading 210.
vacuum, oil pressure,
Right turn,
electrical system
210.
looks good, so we're good there.
Yankee.
We're going to zoom this back out now to see our course. And on Foreflight, we'll switch over to our,
7271, ident.
we're going to switch over to our map page here. And we'll center it on us. There we are.
There 234 Alpha, not seeing it.
So Henderson is going to be, there's Henderson right over here, and I can do this here. If you see, there's Henderson Airport right there. They have a class Delta to 4,000, so he's going to keep us just outside of that area until we're over 4. We're climbing through 4 now, so he may give us on course heading here pretty quick.
234 Alpha, thank you. Radar contact 1 mile west of Paradise. Climb maintain 9,000.
Looking back over there.
Number 234 Alpha, climb and maintain for 5,000. Declare a hold at the PDZ.
34 Alpha, that's climb maintain 9,000.
So there's Henderson right there. There's
are you
the
performing
runways.
ODP?
Perform the ODP. Roger that, sir.
34 Alpha, Roger, climb maintain 9,000.
November 234 Alpha, climb and maintain 9,000.
Right now we're in the surface to
85 Yankees.
10,000 ring on the
maintain 3,600 till established localizer.
in the Bravo. We're about to come out of it into a 4,000 ring or a 5,000, depending on what heading he gives
will
us.
establish on the localizer cleared ILS runway 24 approach 5185 Yankee.
So you can see that was our original course line we wanted if we'd have gone direct right from the runway to Havasu, but he's holding us on a 175, and that gets us clear of, let me go the other way, I'm zooming in instead of zooming out. That gets us,
John Wayne Ground, Warrior 82891, ready to taxi from General Aviation Rank.
that gets us clear of the
Warrior 2891, down the ground, only 20 right taxi via Bravo Kilo.
So he's actually got us coming down this way. Here's Henderson.
20 right, taxi via Bravo
He's going to
Kilo,
take us around
891.
there. He didn't want us coming across there low and into their airspace. Go back to the flight plan page. It'll give us our direct, the desired track and distance was this. But once he gives us direct to Lake Havasu, or own nav, they'll call it, your own navigation, we'll just go direct, enter. It'll draw a new line straight from us direct to Havasu. That'll be our shortest distance home. You can see that I have the GPS selected as a navigation route for the autopilot. However, I've told the autopilot to operate in heading mode, and in heading mode it's going to track the bug. Wherever I set that bug, it's going to hold that course. When he gives us own nav, we're going to push the nav button, and it's going to then take us directly to this magenta arrow. Okay, we're in the 4,000 to 10,000 ring of the class Bravo now. Next ring that we're going to enter is a 5,000. And we'll be in that ring because we've already climbed up over 5,600, so we're going to still be in the Bravo. If we were climbing shallower, we would have actually climbed horizontally out of the Bravo and been underneath of a Bravo shelf above us. But because of the rate of climb that we're getting, we're staying in the Bravo, even as the Bravo is doing the upside down wedding cake up. So there's Henderson Airport right there. If I look out the left-hand window, I can kind of duck down and look back a little bit. You can look around. This head turning thing is useful for when you're in the pattern and you need to identify when it's time to make a base turn. If I put it in this mode, you can see I can even sit up and look up, or I can scrunch down, I can look down and then floor. But all of this is represented here, so I don't need to see that. And then if I get to where I don't need to be looking outside, and everything I have is right, I need is right here, then I just lock it straight in.
Palomar Tower 118.6.
Then it's not jumping all around.
Over to Tower 5185 Yankee.
I am Charlie Papa, resume on navigation.
Own nav for 429 Charlie Papa. Okay, he gave us own nav, so we're going to redraw this line. Instead of from the airport to Havasu, we're going to go from here to Havasu. The way we do that is we're going to go direct, enter, it redraws the line now from us to Lake Havasu. Then we're going to go nav on the autopilot and make a right-hand turn.
891.
I'm sorry, a left-hand turn to center of the needle, and we're 1,000 foot to go here. That chime was 1,000 foot to go to
263 Delta Sierra
selected area
via Foxtrot, and have a great day.
And you'll see on the Foreflight we're making the left-hand turn, and on the Foreflight I'll just tell it I want to go direct to Havasu also, so it'll redraw the line.
Tower, November 5185 Yankee on final at Escon with Echo.
5185 Yankee, Palomar Tower, wind 2207, runway 24, clear to land.
Okay.
24 clear to land.
So the altimeter, the autopilot is centering up the deviation bar because we're a little bit to the right of the course where I pushed because of the turn itself. If I tell it to go directly to Havasu from right here, and then as we're moving forward, we're making the turn, it's trying to get on this line over here. So it just kind of came back a little bit, and then it'll line up on that and center it, which is what it's doing. It's coming up on center right now. So we're looking good. We're at 7,080 feet for 7,500, so she's going to level off here in a minute. Once she does, we'll go through a cruise check. Speed will start coming up. We'll have to come back on the throttle and set our mixture. And what we're waiting on now, we're in the 10,000, 6,000, or I should say 6,000, 10,000 foot ring of the Bravo, so we're still within his Bravo. The next ring, when we leave this ring, he's going to tell me you're leaving the Bravo. So, because the next ring is an 8,000 foot floor, and we're not going to go that high. We're flashing now. We should get an altitude capture, so we want to pay attention to that, make sure the autopilot does the right thing. So we should level off at 7,500. There's 100 feet to go. We should see this change right up here. There it is. Altitude select is flashing. It's switched to the altitude capture mode now. It's flashing. Here comes 7,500 feet. The rate of climb is decreasing. 7,500's coming in. It's captured it. It locked it in. Good to go. All of a sudden now our speed is going up. Speed, and because this is a fixed pitch prop, our RPM is going to start to climb. So we're going to let that build, and then we'll just manage that RPM that we don't go past the green arc here. So here's our speed going up. Here's our ground speed. This is our
November 225, would like to proceed as requested.
Indicated airspeed, true airspeed down here.
234 Alpha, roger. 2891, contact departure.
I'm going to keep it at 2,500, so I'm going to throttle back a little bit.
SoCal departure, Warrior 828.
Then we switch over to engine instruments to system page and start to lean.
SoCal departure, radar contact.
So I'm leaning the mixture. The EGTs will start to climb here. Here are the bars coming up. This is simulated somewhat accurately, although not that great. So the leaning thing, I usually pull it down to the fuel flow I'm looking for. I'm going to pull it down to about 7.5 and just leave it there. that's one thing that the simulator is not super accurate on. You can go through the process, but it ends up you get too low a fuel flow indicator there. So I'm happy with just going to a fuel flow of 7.2. We'll go back to the main instrument page. So we're leaned out. RPM has come up a little bit more now with that leaning, so we're going to come back to 2,500. That's where I want to run. We're level 7,500. We're right on course 142. And of course, that course is slightly different than what I told them at the airport at McCarran, because we're now not on a straight line from McCarran to Havasu. He flew us out away from McCarran first and then let us turn, so that changes the course. So the GPS just makes that so easy. The GPS knows course at 143. It's holding 142 right now, so it's pretty much right on. All right, so we're good to go. So the next thing he's going to do, he's going to give us leaving class Bravo, because we just now are flying into a 10,000, 8,000 ring, and we're only 7,500 feet. So he'll let us know that we're leaving the class Bravo, but he'll keep us for a little while longer before he dumps us off to LA Center. And LA Center's frequency is 134.65, so we'll just preload that. And I would expect to hear from him shortly. Maybe he won't tell us. Sometimes they don't tell you. It's not a critical thing, but usually they'll tell you you're leaving the Las Vegas class Bravo. Remain clear, because now I cannot go back into the Bravo without getting a clearance to go back in. Once you're out, you've got to hear you're cleared back into the Bravo. Oh, we'll just look around a little bit. There's Lake Mead up there, you can see. Way up there. And this is the big dry lake bed as you're driving into Las Vegas. The visibility today isn't that great, and the simulator, you can put your own weather in, or you can have it simulate live weather, which is what it's doing right now. So it's taking weather reports from stations around the area and creating as close to that weather as it can, including the visibility distance. And so just like real, sometimes it's a hazy day and the visibility isn't 1,000 miles, and that's what it's demonstrating right here. It's probably giving 40-50 miles visibility, good visibility, and then you can just see the mountains off in the distance out there. I'll lock my view straight out ahead again because I'm going to look down. If you want to do two people in here, the second person can put a headset on. They can also transmit. I have an unused button on here set up, so if an instructor wants to work with a student on the ATC comms and the student is totally flustered and can't answer, the instructor can just reach over here and push one of these buttons that has been reprogrammed. It's a non-used button in the simulator. It's been reprogrammed as a push-to-talk for the instructor, so it'll trigger their headset mic so that they can then do the transmission that's needed and clear things up.
A2891, fly heading 090, join Victor 23.
090, join Victor 23. 891.
So we're just looking for that handoff now to, apparently he's not going to tell us we're clear of the Bravo, and that's fine, they don't always do it. Looking for the handoff to Los Angeles Center, who will follow us the rest of the way back to Havasu. And at that point, we'll go ahead and cancel flight following and just terminate the flight. In the real flight,
204 Alpha contact, Joshua approach 126.1.
You know, in the real flight, you'd be here, you've got your checklist out, and you'd be going through your checklist, which is really the way you should fly a sim, and I'll do a flight like that, full length, and show you that. But I really wanted to show the interaction with ATC and how effective that is as a training tool. I'm not uncomfortable doing that, and I miss the transponder because I haven't been doing it much. So, you know, when he originally gave me the craft, I didn't put the squawk in there, and he called me out on it. So that's a perfect example of how you stay up on the proficiency by using the sim. I don't think that was for us.
Special approach November 234 Alpha would like to perform VOR DME runway 17.
234 Alpha cross samples at 9,000, clear VOR DME runway 17 approach.
Elmer ground, Cessna November 585 Yankee, across to general aviation ramp. Clear.
That's realistic. Two guys talking at the same time. It happens.
With you, 585 Yankee.
And was that leaving Bravo airspace for 429 Charlie Papa?
For 429 Charlie Papa, contact departure.
Uh, 429 Charlie Papa, I think we're looking for a switch over to LA Center probably.
429 Charlie Papa, contact departure, or contact center, whatever you wish.
9 Charlie Papa, contact Los Angeles Center 134.65.
3465 for 429 Charlie Papa. Okay, they might be on shift trade there, and they got two controllers.
9 Charlie Papa, contact Los Angeles Center 134.65.
130. $134.65 for 429 Charlie Papa. Okay, my bad. I bumped a button and I gone up on COM 1. So again, this is why you do this. I need to flip-flop to 3465. Good afternoon, LA Center. Cessna 429 Charlie Papa, level 7,500, direct Lake Havasu.
Number 429 Charlie Papa, LA Center, the Bullhead altimeter 2976.
2976, 429 Charlie Papa. So yeah, another perfect example of why you do this. I got flustered and talking and didn't realize I punched a COM 1 receive button on there, and so suddenly I was receiving COM 1, and I had a guy over there talking to me that was confused why I was talking to him. So and that totally could happen in the real aircraft. If you're not comfortable using this stuff, that's totally what goes on. So now we're at the LA Center. There's really not a lot more radio traffic that would go on between here and Lake Havasu. If he has traffic that's directly in conflict with us, he would call that traffic out for us. If he has time, he mainly manages IFR aircraft, but he will watch for traffic and do traffic call-outs. It is somebody that, should I have a problem in the flight, I'm totally in contact with him. He knows who I am, where I am, what I'm doing, and I don't have to go through all that. I can just say, hey, I got this problem. Can you help me? Whatever I need at the present time. So for now, let's just end this there. There's a lot more stuff I can show you on the G1000 and stuff that I want to show you how all this stuff works. But the main thing I wanted to do is demonstrate the use of Pilot Edge and how effective it is at taking the immerse factor of immersing into the simulation from you're just in your living room flying by yourself, and if you want to do loops and rolls and act like an idiot, you can do that, nobody cares, to putting it in this environment where this guy can see everything I'm doing. He can see my inputs on my transponder. He knows whether or not I'm transmitting on the right frequency, and it brings it all together and gets it about as close as you can get. Now, I don't do the visuals, the wraparound visuals, because my simulator is meant to be mobile. So to compensate for that, I do this thing called Track IR, where when I flip a switch, I can look around and look out like that. I can look left and right. I can look up and down. I can move forward in my seat and look up like that. I can sit up in my seat and look over. I can look down inside. So this simulator isn't as immersive as it could be if it had the complete wraparound visuals. However, that's not what I'm really intended for it to be. It's a procedural trainer. It's to learn the G1000. It's to learn your air traffic control stuff. It's to learn the aircraft systems. So the visuals are pretty good here, and they're pretty accurate. I mean, here's Lake Mojave going by, searchlights coming up over here, and then you'll start to see Bullhead City right over here. The terrain is accurate. It's photographic terrain, so it's totally head over heels where these things were just a few years ago. It's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel flight following with him, because in this system he's managing myself plus other aircraft, and so it's not fair just to pop in and pop out, just to turn it off, because he'll be like, well, I was handling that guy, what the heck happened, or I was routing somebody around that dude. But in real life, you can terminate flight following anytime you want, if you're a VFR aircraft, and then you're just on your own. And then at that point, he doesn't care whether or not I just make my airplane disappear off the screen, because he's no longer handling me. So let me just tell him LA Center, Cessna 429 Charlie Papa. We're going to terminate flight following.
And number 429 Charlie Papa, enter service terminated. Squawk VFR frequency change approved.
VFR frequency change approved. Thanks. Have a good day. Okay, so Squawk VFR, I'm going to go down here to the transponder, and we'll go transponder. All these switches change, no matter or what they do changes every time you push a button. So I want to go VFR, which is going to change the code, the 5365 to 1200. Boom, 1200. Now I'm squawking or sending out a 1200 code, which tells him he's no longer engaged with me. He can see me on his radar, but I'm not following what he says, and he's not telling me what to do. I'm just out here flying now in an uncontrolled area, basically. So, and then I can, do whatever I want. If I want to take the airplane off autopilot, and I can tell it, well, just cancel the autopilot, and then just fly it around and do goofy stuff. You can do that. But honestly, there's not much training benefit in doing that. Maybe a little bit for somebody that's just learning how to fly to get the idea how the controls work, but you're not going to learn how to fly an airplane in a simulator. You'll learn some basics, but what you will learn is to learn how to use the nav equipment, the systems, the engine controls, the procedures. That's where it's at with the simulator stuff. So, okay, that's it. We're going to end this here, and hope you enjoyed that. And if so, give it a thumbs up, and we'll do some more.